The broadcast is now starting. All attendees in
All right, good
listen-only
evening,
mode.
everybody. It's we got a couple minutes here before we get started. Just wanted to get this going here. I'm going to leave the screen as it is for another minute, and then we'll get started. So if you guys can hear me, please somebody just type a yes under questions, and we'll go from there. Yes, there's a yes. Thank you. So I think I have another minute or so here. If you guys need to go to the bathroom, that's good. You got some time. And I'll give it a minute and we'll get started here. All right, so I think we're getting a good number here. We have quite a few people already online. So I think I'm going to start the presentation here. Just got to get things lined up. Um, okay, let's see. I think we're good. All right, so I guess we'll get started. So my name is Eric Call. I'm one of the coaches for QT2 and Outrival. Uh, Tonight we're going to be doing our ZWIFT 2.0 session. If you guys had a chance to watch the ZWIFT 101, that's great. If not, this presentation is more for people that have been using ZWIFT for a little bit. And I'm just going to go over some tricks and hacks that I've found over the last couple of years and months, actually. And hopefully, you guys will learn something new and you can up your game with that. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna get moving here. I kind of did this video for the last presentation. So that's me on the left over there, um, doing a run workout. As I'm stretching over there, I'll do a quick introduction. Again, name is Eric Cole. I've been doing this for quite a while. I've been doing triathlon since the early 90s, so I'm probably aging myself here a little bit. Coaching for close to 20 years at this point. Been with QT2 in Outrival for I think the past 5 years. And I am their QT2 ZWIFT coach. So for the ones that have joined our Thursday morning workouts, most of them were created by me. So if you like them, great. If you don't like them, well, it's going to make you stronger. So let's get this ball rolling here. This webinar is going to be recorded. If you guys have any questions throughout the webinar, just type it in. And from time to time, I'll stop and take a look and see if there's any questions there. Otherwise, I'll address all the questions at the end of the webinar. All right, as usual, we like to start with the 5 cornerstones of our QT2, or actually all of our brands. Number one, obviously, is training. We don't believe in sending any of our athletes to a race without proper training. So that's really what we specialize in, and that's what we're really good at. So number two, nutrition and rest. Uh, Obviously, in order to build fitness, it's a combination of proper training with proper nutrition and plenty of rest to allow that fitness to come in place. So this part of the 5 cornerstones, what we call our preparation phase. Next, we have race fueling and pacing. Obviously, when comes race day, race fueling plays a big factor on how well you perform, and pacing comes down to strategy and execution. The combination of those two is what we call the execution part of the cornerstones. Number five is mental fitness, and the sum of all five of these equals the outcome of the race. All right, so this presentation, or this slide was on the last presentation. I left it here just because a lot about ZWIFT has to do with the game. So a lot of the things that I'm going to talk today have to do on how to play the game in your advantage. I personally have been using Zwift since probably 2016 on and off. Kind of liked it, and then I didn't like it. I didn't really like the game feel of it. For the last several years, I've used Zwift. I'm a creature of habit. I probably rode the same course 100 times before I'm like, let me try a different route. And the more I play with Zwift, the more I realize that I should have been doing some things a while back, and that's what I want to bring it up. So Zwift is a game. It's a virtual world where athletes can bike, run, and very soon they can start rowing on Zwift. And these athletes are from all over the world. Obviously, because of COVID-19 and everything that's going on with social distancing and people having to stay at home, Zwift numbers have blown up tremendously. I think the largest number I've seen the last couple of weeks was 34,000 people cycling at the same time. So, and with that, they've had some growing pains, and they're changing things as we speak. So some of the things that you see on this presentation are actually already changing, and I'll touch on that later on. Now, also, right now you can run on Zwift as well, as long as you have a footpod, and obviously you can run on the treadmill, and you can run Zwift on an iPad or your phone or your computer. But if you guys are watching this presentation, hopefully you guys have done some Zwifting, and I'm not going to touch too much on the basics of Zwift. All right, so I'm going to start with the settings here. Again, this is still kind of on the basic side. This is the settings the way I have it. Um, I don't really need to hear the third world volume, so I have that off. I kind of leave the in-game volume on just so I can hear if something is coming up. Those cling clings kind of annoy me after a while. One of the important things to make sure that you have set up properly is you want to make sure that the 3-second average, or that your power display is showing a 3-second average. If you use the instant power, your power is going to be bouncing all over the place, and it's not going to be enjoyable. I mean, it's going to literally bounce up and down. The other things are kind of like my preference. The leaderboards, I leave them off unless they need to be on, so I put them on auto. Now, something that I've learned over the last couple of weeks is to use metric over imperial. Anybody that knows me personally knows that I grew up in Brazil, so I'm very comfortable with metric. But obviously, I've been writing over with imperial, which is what we're used to, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up on this page here, it's at the very bottom, the workout pain effect. So I keep it off. If you keep it on and you're doing some threshold efforts or some long, hard efforts, the screen gets fuzzy, like if you are in pain in real world and you're starting to see stars. I don't need that on the screen at Zwift. So that's something that you can turn off. I find it annoying. Some people may enjoy it. But again, that's just kind of my suggestions on that. I think we're doing good. No questions so far. I'm going to keep on skipping forward because the fun is about to begin here very shortly. All right, so let's start with terminology. Erg, writing erg. That's something that I do a lot, and I mentioned to my athletes the fact that they should be writing erg. So what does erg mean? If you have a smart trainer, so this is only valid for smart trainer users. If you have a smart trainer and you're writing on erg, the trainer will do all the guesswork. It'll adjust the resistance for you to ride doing your workouts. So remember, only doing workouts. If you're riding just riding a course or doing a race, you are riding on what we call sim mode, and then you will feel the course gradient. So you will feel the hills going up or down. But when you're riding on erg, the trainer sets the resistance, and that is directly related to your cadence. So if you're doing a workout and the workout calls for example, ride at 80% of your functional threshold power for 5 minutes, the trainer will adjust that resistance. So whatever number that equals to, the trainer will do that. Now, the important thing to figure out, and I put it here on this little table, is that it's also related to your cadence. So if your cadence is low and you're doing a really hard effort, it's going to feel a lot harder. The opposite is also true. So if your cadence is high, in this example here, I said, if you're holding a 60 RPM and your resistance is going to ramp up, you're going to generate 150 watts. If you increase that cadence to 90 RPM, your resistance is going to feel like it's going to go down, and that's normal. And that's important to remember, especially if you're doing a workout and you know that the next set is a harder set. I always encourage my athletes to pick up the cadence just before that next set comes in, so you don't feel that big resistance change, and it just happens more of in a natural way as you start to fade into that set. The other cool thing about erg mode is that you don't need to shift. Now, with that said, personally, I always set my bike on the small chain ring in the front and the largest cog in the back when I'm riding erg. Maybe the second to the largest cog in the back, depending on the workout. For me, that's what feels most natural to meet my normal cadence. Um, Now, when you're riding with erg, because the trainer is doing all the adjustments and it takes in consideration your cadence, you don't need to shift. So that's kind of a cool thing. So where if you're riding on the road, you have to shift every whatever minute, 30 seconds or whatever it is to deal with the road or the elevation or the hills. In erg mode, you don't need to shift. Um, and then the last thing I wanted to bring up, and I think I already mentioned, is that this is a wattage base or wattage target versus a course gradient. If you're riding on erg, doing a meetup ride, or on a regular ride, if you're doing a workout, the course that you're riding on doesn't matter. If you're going up a hill and you're doing 150 watts, and you start going downhill, but the workout calls for you to do 150 watts, you're not going to feel a difference of the elevation. So the erg mode controls everything that's going on. Now, during ZWIFT, if you're riding on erg and you are going up a hill, the only thing you're going to notice is that your speed is going to change because ZWIFT does take in consideration your weight and how much power you're doing to obviously travel through the course. All right. Let me take a peek here, make sure I don't have any questions so far. If you guys have any questions on erg, shoot it now. Otherwise, I'm going to move forward. The other thing I forgot to say is that during this presentation, I'm going to flip back and forth in between ZWIFT, my ZWIFT in the background in the presentation. So I'm going to try to cover both of those. But in your settings, always keep that erg mode set. And if you're riding on sim, which means you're riding on the course, it'll do its thing and it won't affect the course itself. All right, so I don't have any questions so far, so I must be doing a decent job. So let's move forward here. All right. So this is the first thing that it doesn't apply as much anymore. So for the longest time, you could only ride 2 courses on ZWIFT. Watopia is always one of the host course, and ZWIFT would have a calendar where they would change the course from time to time. But starting about a week or 2 ago, ZWIFT, because of the increased traffic on ZWIFT, literally, I did a ride the other day, and it was one of the tours that they had this weekend, and there were 2,000 people doing that same ride at the same time. So it was kind of crowded. So in order to minimize the crowd on the course, ZWIFT started to open 2 courses at a time. So there's actually a total of 3 courses that you can pick from, which alleviates the traffic a lot. Depending on the time of the day that you ride, the traffic is going to be better or worse. So for years you could only ride 2 courses. So here's the first hack. If you go into your preferences folder or file, which is a PRFS XML in your documents, and I'm going to do that here so you guys can see, you can actually enter the brackets here with World 1 or World 2 and write a specific course. Now, with that said, if you're not a computer savvy person, please don't play with that. All right, I'm going to leave that at that. You're not going to destroy anything, but it might mess up your that day's ride because you might get an error. And all you got to do is restart your computer and restart Zwift, and that will be fixed. So I'm going to kind of flip through here really quick. Oh, before I do that, there was an app or software in the market, a third-party software that's called ZWIFT Preferences, which does that for you. So you don't need to do that. So in essence, you could ride any of Zwift courses any day of the year that you want to. They have some cool little things you can ride where it takes away the overhead display of your speed and your power, so you can just look at the screen without any numbers. It gets rid of some of that distraction. But again, I'm going to click out here really quick. So if you went into your folder and you went into your documents, you're going to have a file under Zwift. You click on that and you scroll down a little bit. Here's that prefs file that I mentioned. You want to open that with the different. Oh, I didn't do that right. I didn't want to open that. All right, so I want to open that with a notepad. Okay, and this is where you enter what world you want to ride. But again, if you're not comfortable with the little coding or very computer savvy, I would just skip that and maybe download that Zwift Preferences software. And if not, just enjoy the game the way it is. All right, did I lose anybody here? Do we have any questions? Here we go. No, that was not directed at you, Jackie. Jackie had a question for me, and I'm going to leave it at that. That was not directed at her. Later on, I do have a few things that are directed at you and maybe somebody else that's on this webinar, but not right now. So there's another question. Does Zwift know what rider bike weight is? Yes, that's a great question. So I think the question is, does Zwift know what your weight is in obviously the bike? So the answer is yes. When you first log in or in your settings of Zwift, you have to enter your weight. Please be honest. All right. That is one way that people are quote unquote cheating on races, is that they're putting the wrong weight or even the wrong gender. You want to be honest. It is a game. I mean, if you want to do any of the competitions or anything like that, I mean, I really hope everybody's honest and they're putting the right weight. So that's under your settings. So here's the thing: if you are if you're doing really well during this stressful time and you're actually losing weight, go ahead and adjust that to match that you lost whatever 2, 3, 5 pounds, whatever it is. The flip side is also true. If you are gaining weight, go ahead and adjust that, because even though we're not making any money on Zwift, it'll kind of give you a sense of reality that if you're riding a flat course and you have this specific bike, you should be averaging whatever that specific speed, like 18 miles an hour or whatever speed that you average. So that's something that I hope everybody kind of does that, but it's okay. You can adjust that either on a companion app and or on the Zwift page itself. And I'm actually going to jump into that here. Let me just see. Okay, that was somebody else had the same similar question. So Stan, did I answer your question on the rider bike weight and stuff? I just want to make sure I do that before I move forward. All right, I think Stan is taking a break. So I'm going to jump into Zwift here. Oh, before I go there, so if you guys look here on the screen, on the left side of this picture, all right, I did answer Stan's question. All right, perfect, got that under control. There is a challenge going on with Zwift. So as I was doing this, I think that I took this picture yesterday or even today, I noticed that, and I'm like, oh, well, if I click on that, you guys probably can't see it, but it's saying, the challenge is to ride 150 miles in the month. And if you do so, you're going to get 100,000 sweat drops, which I'm going to talk about that later. And I'm like, well, I ride right now probably close to 100 miles indoors a week, so that wouldn't be a bad challenge. So I clicked on that. So I'm going to flip out of here really quick and pull up my Zwift so you guys can see basically the same screen that's going on there. Let me get this out of the way here. So here's a very similar screen of what we had on the presentation. So right here is that challenge that I signed up for the month. So again, ride 150 miles, which is about 250K before April 16. Here's a caveat with the game. Like anything with the game, it's not retroactive. So all the miles that I rode already this month, that I think I've done like 4 or 5 rides, they don't count. So everything starts today. So that's something very important to remember, and I'm going to go back to that again on a couple other screens. So when you first get on Zwift, you have the choices of, right now you have 3 different worlds today. You can ride Watopia, and it tells you how many people are riding right here. So there's close to 4,000 people there. And then there's London and Yorkshire. I know this is kind of basic for some of you guys, but I want to touch on it really quick. And on each world, you have different maps, different routes that you can ride based on if you want to ride flat or if you want to ride some hills. So take that in consideration when you're doing your workouts or your rides, that you want to pick the route that matches what you need to do. So I meant to talk about this on the other screen, but if I wanted to ride with let's see, Katie right here, I would click on her and Zwift would take me right to where she's at and I can start riding next to her. Hopefully you know this person because I don't. But you could just ride with people like this. And part of Zwift, or a large part of Zwift, is the social aspect. So as you meet people and you know people, you would use your companion app to friend those people, just like you would do in any other social media. And those people's name would pop up over here when you're starting to do your ride. It'll say so and so is riding now, so you can join them. All right. On the top right corner here, these are upcoming events. So if I wanted to, I can join this John Dava over here. That doesn't start until tomorrow. 22 hours, starting 22 hours. I don't think I want to do that one. But there's a couple of events over here that I could join right here. I personally prefer to use the companion app to schedule my event in my meetup rides, and I'll talk about that later. Down here, I have a regular goal of riding no less than 60 miles a week on Zwift. So right now I am 30 miles into my 60-mile ride. So I think I'll hit that probably maybe by the end of tomorrow's ride or Saturday's ride or whatever. So you can add little goals. So if I wanted to add a different goal, just click on that and you can pick, is this goal going to be a weekly or a monthly? And is it going to be by time or by distance? And you can add that. All right, so let's get back to the presentation here. Let me load this back up. And let me make sure I don't have any questions here. I think I'm good with questions so far. So I'm going to move on. Next. So I did talk a little bit about that, joining another rider. So this day here, if you look at this picture, I'm friends, quote unquote, with John Frodeno. He's like some slacker triathlete or something, some professional triathlete. No, he's really good. So his name is actually highlighted differently. So I could literally click on John Frodeno and bike with him, which is pretty cool because in reality, that would never happen in the real world. I'm pretty certain about that. And if I ever got close to him, he would probably go into the opposite direction because he's way faster than me. So, all right, so we're gonna fly through this screen here. Nothing to be seen here. All right, so this is another page. Challenges. I wish I knew about this 3 years ago, um, but I didn't. So when I first started joining Zwift, I remember taking the challenge to ride California. All right, these are it's rated by miles in California, so the goal is to ride 797 miles. Um, and I met that, and I never really touched any of the challenges. So a few months ago, I'm kind of getting into the game a little bit more, and on one of the threads that I was reading, the guy mentioned the same thing. I wish I would have joined the Climb Mount Everest challenge when I first joined Zwift. Remember, I said nothing's retroactive in Zwift. So all those little hills and miles that I've done for the last 5 years do not count for this climbing Mount Everest challenge. So a couple months ago, I went into my settings and I changed that. So here are the three main settings that you have on Zwift, which starts with climbing Mount Everest. So you need to climb, 29 feet of elevation throughout your rides. This is not in one ride. This is just throughout all your rides. Riding California, again, is just riding 797 miles. Or the Tour de Italy, which is the next one I'm going to do, you just need to accumulate 1,242 miles. So again, I'm going to flip back to my Zwift so I can show you guys where to change that. All right, again, here's that first screen that you guys get. I'm going to skip forward. I'm just going to press ride. And all that's going to do, it's going to take me into whatever world. It's going to take me to Yorkshire. Let's see how much competition I'm getting here with my kids over the Wi-Fi. I see not responding there, so I may be in trouble. I may have to restart Zwift. We'll see if this kind of comes around. And if not, I'll come back to it. I'm going to give it another couple seconds here in the meantime. Take a quick sip of my water. Oh, here I go. Perfect. All right. For anybody that knows me, I love bikes and I love beer, so I've got the perfect jersey right there. So from this screen, which you all get it when you first come into Zwift, what you have to do to go to your settings is just click here on the bottom left on the menu, and this settings screen comes up. All right. So we're talking about challenges. Your challenge that you selected is right here. So I'm going to click on this one, and I just did Alpe d'Huez whatever it's Alpe d'Huez or the Zwift last weekend, and I know I got a lot of my climbing done on that route. So on this challenge, I'm 88% completed, which is to climb 8,848 meters of elevation. If you want to change here on the bottom, you're going to select a different challenge. And I already completed California. All right. So once I complete Mount Everest, I'm going to scoot down here. I'm going to complete Italy. Once I complete that one, another challenge will come up. So in order to gain experience experience in the game, you have to complete these challenges. So you get bonus points for this. You get new jerseys, new socks, new routes. Again, this is about playing the game, so you can become a better rider and get better gear. Because at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what gear you're riding, and that does affect your speed. So I'm going to talk about that next. So I'm not going to change the settings of the challenge because otherwise I will lose this challenge, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to leave that at that. Let me go back to the presentation, but I know where I'm going. So we're going to go back here really quick. Let me see if I have any questions in the meantime. Okay, questions. All right. Where did I find the challenges? So Suzette, did I just answer that question after I did what I just did there, or do you need me to answer that question still? I'll wait on that for a second. Rob showed he loves my Bike and Beers jersey, and I gave him the code for that jersey as well. So I know he rides the same jersey, and I'm going to talk about that here shortly. Um, Can you join more than one challenge at a time? No, you cannot join more than one challenge at a time, only one. So that's why when you're first starting, I would recommend that you do the Mount Everest challenge, because every elevation that you do in between now and then counts. Otherwise, you're going to have to start that at a different time. Again, it's just part of playing the game. Um, what's happening here? All right. Any other questions here? See what's going on with me. All right. No, that's a no. Okay, did that one. What's going on with my? All right. Suzette, did I answer your question on how to find the challenges? I never got an answer from you. So if I don't hear from you, I can. Suzette is one of our local athletes. I can help her directly. So I'm kind of. Oh no, I did not answer. So I'm going to do that really quick here again. So Suzette, once you are, let me get out of here. Um, Once you are in the ZWIFT screen, and I'm going to pull that up here, let me lower this. So this is where you start ZWIFT. When you click Ride, that's where you start. If you go to the bottom left, you click on Menu, that's going to pop this screen, and that tells you, my weight, my name, and how many total miles of kilometers I've done, how many hours I've ridden. I've ridden 127 hours on ZWIFT. And then this picture here on the right is where your challenge is. All right, and you can pick your challenges by changing them over here. And we can address that during the week itself directly here. Since Suzette is one of our local athletes, we can do that with her here locally. Again, back to the screen. All right, got that taken care of there for her. Okay, no more questions at this point. I'm going to move forward. So next, I click the right buttons. Okay, so how to earn more XP. XP has to do with experience. All right, so there's a series of things that you guys can do to earn more experience. The more experience you have, the better gear you get, and the more courses you can ride. So just like any other game, you have to achieve certain stages before ZWIFT allows you to ride other courses or other parts. So you can't ride up the Wes, which is up the ZWIFT, until I think your stage. It used to be stage 12 or 14, but because ZWIFT has been so busy, they kind of lowered the restrictions a little bit. So here's some general things that you could do to earn more points. A rider typically earns 500 to 700 XP per hour that they ride. Okay, so if you ride an hour, you get that amount of XP, which is experience. Ride different courses. I didn't do that for a long time. I rode TikTok and I rode Sand and Sequoia for a long time, or even the Volcano Loop. Those were probably the 3 or 4 courses that I rode for a very long time, because again, I'm a creature habit. When I'm on ZWIFT, I'm normally doing a workout. I'm not actually just riding or riding on the sim mode. So I rode the same course probably for the last 3 years, or just a handful of courses. So every time you ride a new course, you get more experience points. Ride a time trial. So this is kind of tricky, because if you're playing the game and if you're joining a group ride, you want to be on the road bike, because when you are riding a time trial bike, you can't draft. And a lot of group riding is about drafting. So it's kind of a toss up on that one there. But if you only ride a road bike, pick a couple routes and ride a time trial. Pick a flat route, which will play to your advantage. You can receive, if you complete a course on a time trial, you can receive either the little bonus or the big bonus, which is like 250 XP. So this is another part that when I was researching this, I thought it was very interesting. That's going to explain why I switched my measurement from imperial to metric. So when you ride a flat route, you earn 30 XPs per mile or 20 XPs per kilometer, which is 2/3 of that, right? Now, if you know anything about metric system, 1 kilometer is 0.6 of a mile. So it makes sense to ride or to put your settings to kilometers because you get more points per kilometer than you would per mile simultaneously, if that makes any sense, because you get 30 points per mile or 20 points for kilograms, and that's like 2/3. But a kilometer is 0.6 of a mile. So kind of fuzzy math there, but I think that works. So, and that's really why I switched mine to kilometers, just to try it out and see if it made a difference. Join group rides. So basically Zwift as a game, they want you to try and experience every single different thing that they offer. Rather it be an event, a group ride, a meetup ride, join a race, all of those things will give you extra points. And then earn badges. So that's what I'm going to touch on now. So earning badges means you're completing different courses. Now, for example, if you complete different courses and you combine them with riding on a time trial, you actually earn double badges for that. So you earn more XP experience points per se. All right, so there's no questions there. I'm going to flip here again to my Zwift. I told you this one's going to be a flip-flop the whole time. So I'm going to go back to the menu here. So let's talk about, what are we talking about? We're talking about badges. So let's talk about badges here. So these are the badges that I've earned over the last couple of months. I'm working on the addict right now because of the COVID-19. I find myself riding more days of the week. So a habitual is someone that rides 3 days in a row, and I earned that badge right off the bat. An addicted person rides 7 days in a row. So that's the one that I'm working on this week. I'm going to get the addicted badge by the end of this week because I'm going to ride 7 days in a row. All you need to ride to count, I believe, is just a 10K or about 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be a hard ride. Pick a flat route if you're trying to go after badges. Be smart. I know it may seem like a funny or a bad joke, but I know a lot of people that are truly unemployed or furloughed right now, and they are going after this badge, riding 14 days in a row. So if you just did one course, or different courses for 14 days in a row, you're going to earn this badge, which not a lot of people have the 14 days in a row. Here's another badge. I earned 10 ride-ons during the ride. And again, these are the badges that I've accumulated. When you get a chance, go on your settings and look for those. So a few more badges that you can earn is, this one here broke the 30 mile an hour speed. Speed Demon, I went at one point, I went over 40 miles an hour, and the Daredevil over 50 miles an hour. I must admit that the over 50 miles an hour was on the downhill, but it doesn't matter. I still got that badge. These are some of the sprinter badges you can get. So 500 watts or 600 watts in a circuit breaker, which is 700 watts. I've been there. There's some drafting badges over here that you guys can earn. So this is kind of a part of the playing the game. Again, I'm not a big game fan, but the more I ride Zwift, the more I feel like I want to kind of play the game a little bit. So here are the route achievements. So over here shows whatever routes I've ridden. And if you think that I've been on Zwift for the last 5 years, I don't have a lot of different routes that I've ridden. Like I said, I ride the same route over and over again because I like it. So what I've done over the last couple of days is that every time I do a meetup ride and I invite people, I pick a different route. So this morning, the ones that rode with me, we actually did a volcano climb. All right. So over the weekend, we're going to do the longer ride. So I might do either the pretzel or the Three Sisters just to kind of earn those badges on my meetup rides with my friends. So again, spend some time, look at these under your settings and see what you're missing or what you still need to accomplish on your game. All right, let's get back here to the presentation. So we touched on that one. We already did that. Quick peek here, make sure I don't have any questions. Okay, questions. All right, is there a way to see your badges and share them to social media? I don't think there is. If there is, I don't know how to do it. No, I don't think there's a way to share them on social media, but that's actually a great question. That might be something Zwift wants to work on because, it's all about social media anymore. But that was a good question. Um, well, actually there is, and I lie. The only you can't really show your badges, but every time you get a badge, you get that little display on the screen saying that you either completed this route or you achieved the speed or whatever it is. So if you took a picture out of that, or actually that picture is normally saved in your companion app under that day's workout. So that's the only way I know how to share that. You just have to push that picture to your social media. But that's a good question. So let me fly through this. We already went through this presentation here. All right, this is where I kind of going to embarrass myself. For the last 5 years, I would see these little symbols pop up on my rides or my workouts, and I had no idea what they were. At one point, I remember looking, kind of googling and seeing what they were, but I didn't know how to take advantage of them. So anytime you see one of these symbols, and I'm going to describe what they are here in a minute, press the space bar on the computer, and you get a boost of either energy or whatever these symbols mean. These are called power ups. All right. So the plus sign here, it means that if you click the space bar, you're going to earn 250 extra XPs just by doing that. So that's free money for the game for say. The plus sign here is the bonus. Now you only get to see these power ups once you go through an archway on the game. Okay, you have to go through one of the archways, and those archways are randomly placed in different places all the time. All right. Like an important one would be the feather one. So if you get this feather one and you click your space bar, it's going to reduce your overall weight by 21 pounds for 15 seconds. If you're going up a hill, that's huge. All right. If you think that the average bike weighs at least 21 pounds, 18 to 21 pounds, it's a big savings. Most of us would love to lose 21 pounds if they're going up a mountain. All right. The other one is the draft one. So if you're behind somebody and you click and you see that guy and you utilize it, it's going to reduce your draft appearance or your overall draft resistance by 50% for 30 seconds. Again, that's pretty big. The aero helmet does kind of the same thing, increases your aerodynamic for 15 seconds. Now, anyone that's been on Zwift long enough, you've seen those bikes that glow in the dark with those wheels that glow in the dark. Those people have played the game. They're way advanced, and those bikes are super light, and those wheels are supersonic fast. That makes a big difference. Any of us know that, you go do a ride and you put your race wheels on, you feel the difference. So the game does the same for you. All right. Okay. Fun part of the day here. Let me make sure I don't have any questions. Oh, I got a question right here. How do I use the power ups on the iPhone? That's a fantastic question, Dan. I'm going to have to get back with you on that one. All right. But there is a way to do it. I'm not an iPhone fan, so I did not research that one, but I'm going to get back to you on that one for sure. Um, Next question here. Um, okay, how can you tell if the course is flat or hilly? So again, when you go back to, and I'll do that in a minute here, when you go back to the first screen and you pick a course, the maps, it'll tell you the elevation over the distance. Now, there's also a great website that you guys should be following, which is ZWIFT Insider. They have the maps, they have the distances, they have the elevation that will help you predetermine whatever route you want to do. Okay, let me see here. Okay, perfect. Got that done. Okay, so anybody that's seen me riding, um, that's my jersey right there. Okay, bikes and beers. All right, and you can see it in my garage, which I'm going to go there next. Um, I didn't earn that jersey, I must say. I found the code for that jersey, and I love it. So I'm going to throw a couple codes here on the screen for you guys to see. Um, if you once you're on Zwift and you're writing, and if you just press the button, the letter P, a little a little graph shows up on the bottom where you can enter these codes. All right. So for the bike beer is bike and beer, which is right here, the second one on the left. You enter that code, you automatically get that jersey. All right, there's probably that I know there's probably about 50 different jerseys out there. Every cycling brand has their jersey. So if you ride a Tax trainer, you can use theirs, or Wahoo, the Wahoo Fitness, or Slow Twitch has theirs, or Korg. GCN is a very popular one as well. Just like when we do our workouts on Thursdays, we have our own jersey. I wish we could tell our athletes what code that is so they could ride our QT2 jersey, but Zwift has not, they're not able to do that right now just because of the incredible amount of traffic or volume that they have right now. They can't recode all of that and just to give us a jersey, but that's something that you could do. And I'm going to, again, flip through my Zwift here really quick so you guys know where I'm at. On that settings screen, if you go into your garage, all right, on the left here, these are things that you earn just by riding the game. Okay, you complete the badges, you get them for things. So frames, I have a few frames here that I've earned. Okay, and so I have the Zwift TT, and it tells you aerodynamics versus weight. I'm currently riding the Tarmac with 808 wheels, which I've earned those as well. So again, whatever bike you ride makes a difference. On the top right here, you guys see that I have almost 3 million sweat drops. What does that mean? That you accumulate sweat drops by amount of time that you ride it. Okay, so and I'll go back to that in a second. So again, you can pick different wheels. You earn these wheels as you ride. Okay, so that's obviously they make a difference, just like on the triathlon or on the road. If you have a better wheel, it makes a difference. Your jerseys are here. You can pick different jerseys. Right? I've earned most of these. I may or may not have hacked the code here or there for some of these jerseys, but these are free. There's no foul on that. And as you unlock different levels, so I'm level 20 right now. So once I get to level 21, I'll get a different jersey. So this is where you would change your jersey and your character. Anybody that knows me, my avatar is a spit image of myself, including the jersey. Love that jersey. Um, okay, so sweat drops again here on the right. I have almost 3 million sweat drops. This tells you how much I don't play the game as playing the game. Um, I can upgrade my bike for much better bikes for different brands. This is something new. It came out about a year ago, I think, that you can pick a different brand. So let's see. I ride a Cervelo in the real world. So if I wanted to upgrade my bike to a Cervelo, I have that bike there. Um, it would cost me 700,000 sweat drops to upgrade my bike with that. The P5X, I don't have that, and I'm not level 45. So some of these things are by sweat drops, others are by level. So let's pick again, a giant. I've gotten those two there. I could buy. I'm not level 22, so I can't get that one, but I could buy this one here. I really think that I'm on the best bike that I can afford right now. I'm not going to spend my sweat drops on anything at this point. I'm kind of saving it for that Tron bike. That's the one that glows in the dark. I want to be cool like those cool kids. But I got some work to do before I get there. All right, so back to the presentation here. I want to make sure I stay on schedule. Um, all right, so we went through the jerseys here. All right, so I used this screen here in the last presentation just to make sure that people were utilizing the companion app well. I don't think people use the companion app to nearly as much as they should. So I'm going to fly through some of these videos here. Let me see, what's my timing? I'm going to skip these videos here. I did this on the last presentation, so and I can send you guys this later on. But basically, use your companion app to sign up for events, sign or reply to your meetup ride. So if you get a meetup ride invite, make sure to reply to it. Otherwise, that day comes and you're not on that ride. And that happened this morning to somebody, um, and they couldn't ride with us. They had to like ride by themselves, which is not a big deal. But if you get an invitation, respond to it. So I have another question here. Loretta here, you have a lot of gear I haven't used. That's very true. I have a lot of gear because again, I just rode on Zwift for years and I didn't really play the game. So this is kind of something new over the last year and a half. I've been trying to quote unquote play the game a little bit more. But I'm pretty strategic, so I'm not going to waste my sweat drops on just a cool bike when I can just train a little harder. Is there a TNT jersey? That's a fantastic question, Dan. TNT is Team in Training. For the ones that don't know, I did a presentation for them a few weeks ago. I don't think TNT has the jersey yet, but if I know Amy, well, she is working with Zwift on that. As soon as we get you guys hooked up with them and riding, I'm sure that they will put a TNT jersey together for you guys. But that's a great question. Um, okay, got that one. I don't think I have any other questions there. All right, so let's move forward here because I'm running tight on time. Again, these are a couple of the screens that you using the app, the companion app. So if you're doing a workout, this is one of the screens that you could see, which is the workout screen. It tells you here on the bottom what's the next interval, what it would look like. So the next one here, you're riding at 122 watts. Your next interval will be 2 minutes at 135 and then 3 minutes at 190. Something to remember when using the companion app is that you have this plus or minus sign over here. If you're doing an interval and you don't think you're going to finish it, you can actually click the minus button and kind of lower the intensity of the interval to make it through the interval and finish the workout, which is the most important thing. On this other screen here, it actually shows you can actually skip an interval if it's too easy or too hard and you just don't want to do it. You can skip that interval. That's under the when you're doing a workout, all right? So couple of shameless marketing opportunities here for me. I do a meetup ride every Wednesday morning at 5:30 in the morning. If you guys are not my quote unquote friends, just go ahead and friend me on the companion, Eric Call at QT2 or hashtag QT2, and I'll invite you guys. We also post that on our open page of the meetup ride. So the meetup ride, there's a limit to it. You can only invite 50 people. There's a big difference in between a meetup ride, which is something that anyone can do it. You can pick the route, you can pick the distance or the mileage, and everybody rides the same route and they stay together. There's a new setting there that you can keep them to stay together, which becomes a no drop ride. That's nice. The other thing that I do is that every Thursday morning at 5:15 in the morning, I have a set event with QT2. So every Thursday at 5:15, that will be under events. We have a banded workout from QT2, and that one we've had as many as 180 riders with us. We average about 100 riders every Thursday morning. Again, that's a workout that I designed the workout and it's based on a percentage of your functional threshold power. And everybody stays together, everybody rides. We actually ride with our QT2 jerseys there. That's something that they've done, and it's engraved in the coding that we all have the same bikes and the same jerseys. All right. Let me just check here for questions really quick. Nothing. I'm doing good, and I'm kind of running tight on time, so I'm going to skip to the best part of the presentation. I'm going to call people out here. Suzette and Jackie, for sure. You guys need to pay attention. So pay attention to this part of the presentation. If you didn't pay attention to anything else, this is the best part of the day. Sorry, I had to have a sip of my water here. So here's my favorite hack that you could do. So I was just saying every Wednesday I do a meetup ride, and I'm trying to complete these courses. Now, these courses may be hilly, and normally my Wednesday ride tends to just be an endurance ride. I just do endurance set. I keep it within my range. I don't want to blow my legs up because on Thursday, I have our QT2 workouts, and those are always fairly hard workouts. And since I'm the one leading the workout, I can't slack. So I'm going to show you a hack, a trick on how to do the best of both worlds. You're going to stay in the meetup ride, and you're going to do an erg workout at the same time. So what that means is that the route, the elevation, doesn't affect your workout. So Suzette, this is the answer to many questions that you've had over the last couple of weeks, how to do that. So I got a little video. I did that. So this will be the screen when you first start riding. So here's something else. I forgot to mention that earlier. When you are SVP for a meetup ride, as you can tell here, I joined, it's whatever time it is. My meetup ride starts in 5 minutes from now. It doesn't give you an option to join the meetup ride until 5 minutes before the ride. It's different than events. Events are set a reminder for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. With the meetup ride, it doesn't. So a little thing will appear here on the screen to remind you to join the meetup ride. Two things. If you're not moving, like I'm not moving on this image here, it's going to show up as this thing here. It's going to show up in just a second. It's going to show up as like kind of in the middle of the screen saying, hey, you have a meetup right there. Boom. It's going to show up as that meetup starting pretty soon. It's going to ask you, do you want to join it or not? So if you click the let's go, it takes you to the meetup ride. If you are riding at that time, on the bottom left over here, a small blue icon, kind of like this one says, join the meetup ride. You have to click on that to take you to the meetup ride. Otherwise, it won't take you. So I'm going to click this blue button here. It's going to take me to the meetup ride. So how do you know you're at the meetup ride? Because your avatar is on the side of the road, and you have a trainer right there. There's a bike trainer sitting right there. So this will allow you to keep on spinning your legs for the next 5 minutes. Again, I don't know what that creepy guy is doing behind me there, but it's kind of making me feel weird about it. But anyways, in order to ride erg doing a meetup ride, you have to wait until you are in the meetup ride world. So which I am right now. I've joined the meetup ride. I'm just waiting for the time to start. What you're going to do at that time is that you're going to click on the bottom left here where it says menu, and that's going to take you to that screen that we've seen many times. And I'm going to I recorded this so you guys can see. So I'm going to click on the bottom left here on menu. Not quite yet, I haven't done that. Come on. All right, so I'm clicking on the menu, and that's going to bring me to that screen right there. All right, and you guys, I've showed you that screen like 7 times already during this presentation. On the top right here on the workouts, you want to click on that. All right, and I'm going to click on workouts right there. It's going to open my workout window right there. So under the workout window, you have all the folders for your personal workouts, other workouts that are free on ZWIFT. All right, and at the very bottom, you would find your like a Training Peaks folder if you had a Training Peaks workout that day. So I'm going to go through a couple of, I'm just going to click on this workout right here, this foundation that's on hour 10, okay? And I'm going to select workout, okay? I'm actually just showing the screen that scrolls up and down. So if I click workout down here, I just clicked on it. It's going to take you back to this screen. And all you do is that you click the button to go back. And now you are in the meetup world and you have the set intervals on the screen right here. So once the ride starts, the terrain does not affect your workout. Okay, so you can control. So let's say, every Wednesday you're supposed to do a whatever type of interval you do, but you want to ride with your friends and they're going to ride a hilly course and you don't think you can get those intervals done on a hilly course. This is how you hack the system to get your intervals done on whatever course it is. All right, so I'm going to let that play there in the meantime. Nothing's going to happen because I'm 3 minutes away from right here to 3 minutes away from the meetup ride starting, and I didn't record it that long because I just wanted to do it for the webinar purposes. So I'm going to stop this here. Any questions on this? And I'm expecting at least one question since I called a couple people's names there. So I'm going to flip it back to my ZWIFT screen. So again, if I was on the world, let me go back here, pretend that I am on that meetup world right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click menu on the bottom left. This setting windows opens up. I am going to click workouts. All right. And right here, there's your library or your workout library right here. Okay. You can pick workouts by QT2, which are the ones that I've done, that I've created. You can click the ZWIFT rides that I do on QT2, which are set right there. All right. Let me close that. I don't want to do that. If you want to pick a workout that your coach gave you on Training Peaks, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. There's my Training Peaks. Whoops. Come on. There's my Training Peaks custom workout. If I click on that folder, it opens this workout here. So that's what the workout would look like. If I wanted to do this workout, I will click workout, okay, and then click back on this screen, and that will take me to the world, to the meetup world. And now I have here on the top left the workouts that I'm supposed to be doing. So in this case here will be, 3 sets of 10 minutes at 230 watts with 5 minutes off in between, blah, 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 blah. All right. So let me go back to the PowerPoint presentation here because this is your time now to ask me questions. Again, this presentation is recorded. It's available for you guys to listen again. I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your lives to listen to me blab away. ZWIFT is a pretty cool software. I don't get paid by ZWIFT. I just happen to enjoy ZWIFT. I've tried some of the, actually, I think I've tried all of the other platforms out there for training, and by far ZWIFT is the one that I think offers the most amount of entertainment and things that are useful. But again, go ahead and just type in the questions if you have, and I'll try to answer them here for the next few minutes. And I gotta have a sip of water here. All right, let's see. Loretta, nice presentation. Thanks. Thank you, Loretta. Thanks for taking the time away from your family tonight. Again, if you have any questions, my email here is on the bottom, eric@outrivalracing.com. Okay, let's see. There's a question up here. Let me find. Oh, there's a bunch of questions now. All right, let's see. All right, Suzette said, "Agata, practice makes it perfect." Yes. And Suzette, you know where I'll be tomorrow morning at 5:15, so feel free to text me if you have any questions. Okay, so you select your own workouts when you're doing a meetup, right? Does that adjust how you're traveling within the world? Oh, that's a great question. So the question was, I selected a workout, and does that affect how I travel through the world? Yes, it does. Because you're doing a workout, your power is going to be consistent. So if you're going up a hill at 150 watts, I'll just use that for numbers. And if normally on the flat you're doing whatever 18 miles an hour at 150 watts, if you hit a 4% grade, your speed is going to decrease, but you're not going to feel the change of elevation affecting your trainer. Okay, so it does change that. And if you're on the meetup ride and everyone stays together, that's the cool thing about this new thing with keep everyone together, is that you can do your workout and not get dropped on the ride by your friends that may be doing something a little harder. Um, so that's a cool feature with that. Let me make sure here I got this question here. Traveling through the world. Did I answer your question on that one there, Heather? I think I did. Dan, can you go over again picking special jerseys? Yes, I'll do that here really quick. Um, so on Zwift, if you go to your settings, okay, click menu on the bottom left, go to settings. If you go to your garage, okay, on the far left, you have the things that you earn just by completing stages, okay? If you're new to Zwift and you only done a few stages, you may only have a few jerseys that you earn, okay? If you guys want some of the codes for jerseys, I can send you a copy of these codes. But this is where you would pick up your jerseys from the garage. Or if you are in the game and you're riding the game, what you would do is that you would press the letter P, this little toolbar or whatever comes up, and you just enter the code bikes and beer or go GCN. I think that's the other one. Go GCN and press enter, and eventually my jersey would change to that one. I think I might have entered the wrong code there. I don't have it in front of me right now, but that's where you would type in codes to change your jersey. All right. Let's see what I have here for questions. Let me see here. Questions. And if I didn't answer your question, then just shoot me an email this week, and I can help you out with that. Nice presentation. Thanks, Loretta. I think I already read that one. I think a lot of questions here for now. So again, this presentation is recorded. I want to thank you guys for taking the time and joining me tonight. Please feel free to shoot me an email. Again, eric@outrivalracing.com. Please friend me on the companion app under Eric with the hashtag Q22 next to it. And I'll invite you guys to some of the meetup rides. If you are on Facebook, Jackie and myself run the Outrival Racing Sarasota Tampa Bay page. So we post a lot of the events that we do on that page. So please like that page, and you can stay up to date on some of the other events that we're doing. I just got a friend request here from somebody. I'm actually on my companion app right now. I'm pretty quick at replying to the friend request. If you put a hashtag behind after your name, if you're one of our Outrival riders, just put ORR. If you're one of our QT2 riders, put QT2. If you're Dan, you would put hashtag TNT. That just kind of helps us identify what team you're associated with for future rides. I just got somebody from Team TNT just invited me for a meetup ride tomorrow night. There you go. So that's how quick things are happening on my companion app. All right, guys, let me check for questions here again. Thank you again for taking the time. And this webinar is being recorded, so you guys can go back and watch it again. Okay? Have a great evening, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank you.